Alright, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We continue again our discussion on the component of Malaysian government. Previously, we discussed about judiciary body. Now we continue with the executive body. So, what is executive body? Executive body is the second body which have your own function and power, which is not overlap with the legislature. So, executive body is the governing body represented by the cabinet minister. So it's led by the Prime Minister. So under the Prime Minister, they have many ministries. Yang di-Pertuan Agong appointed a Prime Minister from members of the Dewan Rakyat who has the confidence of the majority of the Dewan. It's under Article 43.2. And then the Agong also appointed other ministers on the advice of the Prime Minister. So they meet once a week, usually on the Wednesday for a meeting. So executive body is the government, the government who govern the countries. So government actually selected. The government means the majority of the winning party. So normally we have general elections. So that general election in Malaysian case, so who's winning the majority party? For example, since for how many for many years, BN Barisan Nasional won the general election until recently in 2012. BN was lost. BN lost with the barisan with the Pakatan Harapan. All right, I think just recently, and then Pakatan Harapan not even able to manage or govern the country in one term. All right, so normally one term is going to take 5 years. So Pakatan Harapan unable to continue his duty to govern the country whenever there is no confidence from few group of Pakatan Harapan who are sabotaging and making a new government without election. Right, so that's why right now today we have a PN led by Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin, a new Prime Minister. So this new Prime Minister also today, they won because of the majority supported him. The majority means they make a coalition, make a agreement with other party, UMNO and also PAS, and also Bersatu to make a new government. So government who govern the countries today, led by Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin, is the executive body, right? So who select the Prime Minister? Yang di-Pertuan Agong appointed Prime Minister, of course, by the majority who support him as a Prime Minister. So the majority of the Ahli Dewan Rakyat, the parliamentary members who won the parliament seat. So the members of the Dewan Rakyat means the majority, those who are win. So they decided who they want to choose to be a Prime Minister, and then the Yang di-Pertuan Agong decided who is going to be the Prime Minister. Okay. So like previously, whenever Tun Mahathir resigned as a position as a Prime Minister, and then the government don't have any Prime Minister, so and then we don't have election, the Yang di-Pertuan Agong use his supreme power to select the Prime Minister under what been written in the constitutions. And then Yang di-Pertuan Agong also appoint the other ministers. So So of course the list of ministers who's going to um, appointed in all ministries. For example, education ministry, we have security ministry, and then we have apa ni, health ministries. So who's the candidate? Of course, Prime Minister, the one who submit the name, and then Yang di-Pertuan Agong will go through whether he is really agree with the suggestion of the Prime Minister. Okay, so executive body means the government who govern the countries. So the leader is the Prime Minister, and under Prime Minister they have many other minister. So the minister is a politician. That's why uh, the ministry, certain ministry will keep changing the policy due to who is the person who lead that ministry. For example, for the Ministry of Education today, is led by the new politician, all right, new parliament members who suggested by the Prime Minister. So he decided that there is no longer UPSR will be implemented next year. Or this year also UPSR not going to be implemented. So since last year, UPSR is not being implemented due to COVID, and then the ministry decided that UPSR will be no longer become an assessment for primary 6. So UPSR will be replaced with another assessment. Okay, so that is the example. So the ministry, the minister, the members or the head of the ministry can change the policy of the ministry via the agreement of the parliament members. Okay, next, the cabinet can form a special cabinet committee to study. The cabinet can form a special cabinet committee to study a policy or issues requiring close examination. And then the ministers only manage and give directive but not perform the actual task. So the minister, the head, the politician, manage and give directive but not performing the actual task. So who's doing the actual task? Is the person below him, the person who are the government servant, who are applying the job via SPA. So who's got pension? Means whoever, whenever the minister change, so this person below him will not change. The government servant will serve whoever the minister. So because the minister will be lead in one term, 5 years. If they remain, they won't for another election again, so they will remain on that seat. So if they lose the seat, so there will be another new minister, new bosses, because they are politicians. But the one who are doing all the tasks, all the jobs down there, who implementing the new idea or the new policy from the minister is the government servant, the peoples who are been working for a long time, who are applying for that position via SPA. So I think most of you, some of you, you are really aware of this. Maybe your parents was a government servant or still serving as a government servant. Okay, next, a minister lead a ministry. Like an example that I gave just now, Minister of Education lead the ministry. So, for example, now when we talk about COVID cases rising, spiking or rising tremendously. It goes to 600 cases per day. All right. So this is led by the Ministry of Health. So this ministry can decide it uh, for a new policy of health ministry. Okay, next is the government employees perform the task and carry out the directive. The head of the government employees is the chief general secretary. So the government employees, which refer to government servant, perform the task and carry out the directive. So the directive came from the minister. So the minister is the politician, but the employee is not a politician. They cannot involve in the politics directly. Okay, of course they can vote, but they cannot be actively uh, performing or involved in the politics because they are government servant. They call it government servants. A servant of the government, they are the employee. And then the directive came from the politician, which will become a minister. And then who's the head of the government employees? Is the chief general, chief secretary general, ketua setiausaha negara. Okay, next is judiciary. This is the third body, judiciary, badan kehakiman. So what is the function or the job of judiciary body? Responsible for the process of justice. Dia bertanggungjawab dalam proses keadilan. Pastikan sesuatu itu mengikut lunas-lunas kehakiman dan undang-undang. It carries out the duties in court of law, had wider power compared to legislative and the executive. Kuasa dia lebih luas berbanding legislatif dan eksekutif sebab dia menjaga apa yang boleh, apa yang tak boleh di dalam perlembagaan di dalam negara. It can be interpret the constitution of any other law and rule it as invalid. Jadi dia, judiciary ni, badan kehakiman lah yang mentafsirkan perlembagaan dan juga undang-undang yang ada dekat negara kita. Alright, dan dia yang pastikan sama ada ianya boleh dilakukan ataupun tidak boleh dilakukan. So eksekutif ni orang yang kerajaan yang memerintah. Jadi nak perintah pun tertakluk kepada judiciary. Dia pastikan sama ada apa yang dibuat tu sah di dalam undang-undang ataupun tak. Di dalam perlembagaan boleh dilakukan ataupun tidak. Sama juga dengan kuasa ahli parlimen, judiciary, kuasa legislature untuk menentukan siapa ahli parlimen. Jadi judiciary yang memastikan sama ada kuasa itu tertakluk dalam perlembagaan ataupun tidak. So peranannya apa? To ensure that each individual act and behave in a manner befitting a member of society and a citizen. Untuk pastikan setiap orang akan bertindak ataupun melakukan sesuatu yang akan memberi manfaat kepada rakyat ataupun masyarakat. Yang kemudian seterusnya, apakah function judiciary? Determine what action is right or wrong according to the law. Dia kena pastikan setiap tindakan, setiap polisi, setiap perkara-perkara baru yang dilaksanakan adakah mengikut undang-undang ataupun tidak, betul ataupun salah. Jadi badan kehakiman inilah yang mengawal. Kemudian enforcing the law with justice. Jadi dia kena laksanakan undang-undang dengan adil. And the next, free from any government influences. Jadi badan kehakiman memastikan tidak ada pengaruh daripada kerajaan yang boleh mempengaruhi undang-undang yang akan dilaksanakan. So, siapa kerajaan? Eksekutif. Jadi, badan judiciary ini, badan kehakiman kena pastikan Sekiranya badan kehakiman nak melakukan sesuatu, janganlah terpengaruh dengan arahan-arahan daripada sesiapa pun. Walaupun kerajaan, tapi kerajaan tertakluk kepada undang-undang. Jadi badan kehakiman yang pastikan. Okey. Yang di-Pertuan Agong, on the advice of the Prime Minister, appoint judges after a consultation with the councils of rulers. Jadi Pertuan Agong akan melantik siapakah hakim dengan nasihat ataupun cadangan daripada Perdana Menteri. Alright. Setelah berbincang dengan Majlis Diraja. Majlis Raja-Raja. Jadi pelantikan hakim ni dilantik oleh Yang di-Pertuan Agong. Cadangan daripada siapa? Daripada ketua kerajaan lah, iaitu Prime Minister. And then the judges are paid from a special fund and not from the government money. Jadi hakim ni dibayar dengan satu dana khas dan bukan daripada duit kerajaan. An independent Judiciary Services Commission is responsible on the matter relating to judicial services like the appointment of legal officers, promotion and allowances. So dia ada satu badan persendirian, Judiciary Service Commission. Jadi dia bertanggungjawab dengan segala urusan kehakiman. Contohnya melantik pegawai-pegawai, untuk kenaikan pangkat, untuk allowance. Dia ada satu badan satu badan kehakiman sendiri, iaitu Judiciary Service Commission. Kenapa? Sebab dia tak nak ada bias. Dia tak nak government yang bayar. So dia akan rasa untuk enforce suatu law, kena dia cakap government, sebab government yang bayar gaji dia. So because of we don't want this to happen. We want the rule or the enactment or the law being enforced justly, dengan keadaan yang sangat adil. Jadi kita tak nak ada rasa terikat dengan mana-mana pihak apabila hakim hendak menjalankan apa-apa keputusan. Okay, next, judges can be dismissed from service for two reasons. First, improper behavior. Secondly, inability to carry out duties as a judge. Banyak hakim boleh dilucutkan jawatan dengan dua sebab. Perilaku yang salah, yang tidak mengikuti lunas-lunas undang-undang, dan juga hakim yang tak mampu untuk menjalankan tugasnya sebagai hakim. Okay, next, the court. Mahkamah. Kita ada High Court, Mahkamah Tinggi. High Court ada the Federal Court. Maknanya Mahkamah Tinggi dia ada di Mahkamah Pusat, had power to decide on appeal concerning decision of the appeal court and the High Court and the judge. Jadi the High Court, Mahkamah Tinggi ataupun Mahkamah Persekutuan, dia ada kuasa untuk menentukan concerning decision berkenaan dengan keputusan ataupun rayuan, ataupun berkenaan dengan kes-kes yang berprofil tinggi. Kemudian consists of Lord President, Chief Justice, High Court and others directed by the Agong. Jadi yang di-Pertuan Agong yang melantik siapakah ketua hakim negara. Ada presiden dia, kemudian ada Chief Justice dia, kena ada High Court and others. Kemudian ada High Court, kemudian dia ada Appeal Court, Mahkamah Rayuan. So ni sedikit secara ringkas tentang mahkamah. So for details, you can refer to your textbook. There are a lot of detailed explanation on your text. And then we have a lower court. Tadi kita ada mahkamah tinggi dan kita ada mahkamah rendah. The lower court, we have a session court. What is session court? Is the highest among the lower court. Maknanya mahkamah Mahkamah Session adalah yang paling tinggi lah dalam kategori mahkamah rendah. District mahkamah rendah, Session Court and Magistrate Court, ini semua di bawah mahkamah rendah lah. Okay. So apakah mahkamah session tugasnya adalah handle all kind of criminal cases but not to the death penalty. Dia menguruskan segala kes-kes jenayah, tapi taklah sampai hukuman dia mati. Kalau hukuman mati ni mahkamah tinggi, ni mahkamah rendah. And cases involving claim not exceeding 250,000. Kemudian untuk kes-kes yang tidak melebihi amount RM250,000. And then magistrate court. So mahkamah magistrate, the president preside by magistrate, handle criminal cases involving jail sentences not exceeding 10 years prison. So untuk kes-kes yang melibatkan hukum penjara yang tak lebih 10 tahun, ini dihandle oleh mahkamah magistrate. Kemudian ada special court, ada mahkamah khas. So apakah mahkamah khas? Juvenile court. Untuk kes-kes juvenile, kes bawah umur, dia di bawah special court, which has power to handle cases of teenagers age below than 18 years old. Jadi kes juvenile ni adalah kes-kes yang melibatkan remaja di bawah umur 18 tahun. Tapi bukan kes-kes murder lah, pembunuhan. Okay? Jadi kes-kes yang melibatkan jenayah bawah umur ni di bawah mahkamah juvenile. Those found guilty by this court will be sent to rehabilitation center. Jadi kalau didapati bersalah, jadi orang yang bersalah atau remaja kanak-kanak yang bersalah akan dihantar ke pusat rehabilitasi, pemulihan. The media are not allowed to cover or highlight the cases. Jadi pihak-pihak media tidak dibenarkan untuk highlight kes ni sebab dia masih di bawah umur lagi. Tapi kalau kes-kes besar, media ambil gambar banyak kan, dekat muka dia dekat nak jalan daripada kereta ke mahkamah, daripada mahkamah nak masuk ke kereta. Tapi untuk kes-kes juvenile tak boleh. Dia ada sebab-sebab dia untuk menjaga masa depan kanak-kanak sebab dia masih muda. So supaya dia ada lagi future, alright, setelah hukuman yang telah dilakukan untuk kanak-kanak bawah umur 18 tahun. Kemudian kita ada special court yang lain dipanggil industrial court, mahkamah industri, which handle the cases of disputes between employers and employee. Ini kalau orang ada masalah pekerjaan, pekerja nak komplain dengan tentang bos ke, bos nak komplain tentang pekerja ke, okey, ada diskriminasi ke, ada yang kena pecat tanpa sebab ke, atau sebab tak munasabah ke, ini semua di bawah industrial court. Appeal to the court decision can be made to the high court. Jadi dia boleh juga mohon rayuan, okey, kepada mahkamah tinggi. Kemudian apakah mahkamah-mahkamah lain? Dia ada military court. Jadi untuk askar, untuk angkatan tentera, dia ada mahkamah khas. Dia tak boleh berada dihukum di mahkamah biasa. So untuk askar yang telah serve countries, anggota-anggota tentera ni, dia ada mahkamah khas dipanggil mahkamah tentera, military court. Has power to handle cases involving members of the armed force. Jadi segala masalah yang berlaku di dalam ketenteraan, okey, akan dibawa ke military court. Contohnya pembunuhan. So ada tentera yang membunuh, jadi pembunuhan itu dibawa ke kes mahkamah. Jadi bukan mahkamah biasa, mahkamah ketenteraan. Sebab kes dia berlainan dengan kita, sebab dia menjaga keamanan. Dia askar, jadi dia punya tugas berbeza. Yang melibatkan pembunuhan ni adalah sebab dia dibenarkan ataupun berada di bawah akta mahkamah ketenteraan. Kemudian kita ada syariah court. Ini khas untuk orang-orang Islam lah. Dia menjaga kebajikan keadilan untuk orang-orang Islam, hal yang berkaitan agama Islam. Has power to handle cases concerning the administration of Islamic law for Muslim families or individual. Contoh kes perceraian kan, bila orang Islam bercerai, di dalam syariah. Okay. Two types, Sharia Court and the Sharia Appeal Court. Dia ada mahkamah syariah dan juga mahkamah rayuan syariah, which has power to hear appeal of the decision of the Sharia Court. And then the decision of the Sharia Appeal Court cannot be challenged in the civil court. Jadi kes-kes yang berada di mahkamah syariah tidak boleh diganggu di dalam civil court. Maknanya dia ada border lah. Alright. Okay, next. Itu adalah habis. Itulah semua contoh-contoh mahkamah. Kita ada mahkamah khas, mahkamah ketenteraan, mahkamah syariah. Kemudian kita ada mahkamah rendah, mahkamah tinggi. Alright. Jadi semua mahkamah-mahkamah ini berada dalam badan kehakiman. Jadi badan kehakiman ini adalah di bawah salah satu badan di dalam kerajaan selain daripada legislature and judiciary. Jadi badan kehakiman lah menentukan kuasa yang ada pada judiciary, yang ada pada legislature. Dan badan kehakiman juga yang enforce, yang melaksanakan undang-undang, yang nak pastikan keadilan pada setiap individu, pada setiap kumpulan, pada setiap syarikat, pada setiap badan-badan NGO, pada setiap kementerian, pada negara. Contoh agung pun ada dia punya court sendiri. Jadi inilah badan kehakiman, 3 badan yang membentuk kerajaan ataupun membentuk negara Malaysia. Kita ada judiciary, yang kita baru discuss, badan kehakiman. Dan yang kita baru discuss jadi juga adalah the executive, badan yang menguruskan kerajaan, menguruskan negara. Agung tidak menguruskan negara. Yang menguruskan negara Malaysia ni adalah menteri dan perdana menteri. Mereka adalah pengurus. Jadi they been called executive body. Jadi untuk jadi pengurus, dia ada satu badan lagi yang menggubal undang-undang. Mereka adalah legislature, ahli-ahli parlimen yang dilantik. Dan dia juga ada terbagi kepada Dewan Rakyat, Dewan Negara dan juga yang Dipertuan Agong. Itu terdapat dalam legislature. So saya rasa itu sahaja untuk hari ini. Alright. So thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.